What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be diving into the AC/DC concert Blu-ray, Let There Be Rock. So it comes in a bare bones standard plastic case with not even a booklet inside, and the set list and credits are on the back of the case. So Let There Be Rock was filmed at the Pavilion de Paris on 9 December 1979 during AC/DC's Paris, France stop of their Highway to Hell World Tour. The concert film was released both theatrically and on videotape back in 1980, and up until 2011 had only been available in lackluster VHS form. In 2011, Let There Be Rock finally received its due and was re-released in restored and remastered Blu-ray and DVD versions, as well as a limited collector's edition tin that includes both the Blu-ray and DVD. Up until recently deciding to finally tackle this review, I had been quite satisfied with and often watched my remastered DVD version of this concert. But last week I finally splurged for the Blu-ray edition so that this review would cover the best possible version of it. For the one person out there watching this review who may not already know the basic AC/DC story, allow me to briefly summarize. AC/DC was formed in Sydney, Australia in 1973 by brothers Angus and Malcolm Young. By 74, Ronald Belford Bon Scott replaced original lead vocalist Dave Evans, and the band went on to release 7 successful studio albums before Scott was found dead on 19 February 1980 after a night of excessive alcohol consumption. Scott had basically choked on his own vomit in his sleep, according to most of the news reports. Let There Be Rock was filmed only a couple of months before Scott's untimely death. This concert film is certainly dated looking, but it still seems fresh to me. Every AC/DC tour and concert video that followed would feature a mammoth stage production, epic light show, and enough fire and explosions to give Kiss in their prime a run for their money. But the 1979 Highway to Hell tour that you get to witness on this concert film had none of that nonsense. Just a huge wall of Marshall amps on a minimally lit stage and some of the loudest and proudest bluesy cock rock to ever come out of the Australian continent. Let There Be Rock is part concert film and part documentary, with interview footage interspersed with nearly every damn song, unfortunately. The interviewer inexplicably sounds like quite the complete douchebag, too, asking some of the dumbest questions I've ever heard. Are you waiting for the Third World War? But the band members, who all appear to be completely hammered during this interview, take it all in stride and provide appropriately silly answers as if to say, are you really the bloke they sent here to interview us? They also must have just watched Led Zeppelin's The Song Remains the Same movie, as this video has similar fantasy sequences between some of the songs, such as Phil Rudd racing an old biplane with his Porsche. The first few minutes of the video show the road crew loading in the equipment and setting up the stage, and then moves to the band warming up and hamming around backstage before the show. Angus, already halfway dressed in his typical schoolboy uniform, looks all of about 13 years old here as he sits there fiddling with his Gibson SG guitar backstage. The band finally kicks off the proceedings with a very loose and raw live wire under a modest light show by today's standards and a stripped-down stage. This one is all about the music and the swagger with a capital swagger. The 13-song set features 4 of the best tracks from the just-released Highway to Hell album: Shot Down in Flames, Walk All Over You, Girls Got Rhythm, and of course the title track, as well as some older classics that you will not likely find on any of the Brian Johnson era concert DVDs, such as Sin City, which really epitomized the raw bluesy rock that these guys had already mastered by the mid-70s. The set list is a very refreshing change of pace if you already have all the other AC/DC concert videos, especially with Bon Scott performing them. By now, Bon is completely shirtless, and for a guy who supposedly lived on beer and cigarettes and has probably never seen the inside of a gym, he looks surprisingly like a big hairy-chested welterweight boxing champ up there. Bad Boy Boogie was certainly an early highlight of the concert, and these guys give a master class in the lost art of taking the intensity way down, then bringing it back up, and taking it down again, and then bringing it all the way up before Angus launches into a blistering guitar solo. Angus also mixes in a Hall of Fame-worthy striptease into the proceedings that see him strip all the way down to his red velvet schoolboy uniform shorts before eventually mooning the ecstatic crowd. Regarding the production quality, the best reason to upgrade to the Blu-ray version is for the new DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround mix, which really gives this epic concert the extra muscle it deserves. The bass frequencies were very loud in the mix though, and I found myself having to turn the subwoofer down slightly to get the overall volume up to where I really like it, and that's loud. I also like how it sounded with some of my Denon receiver's other sound decoders, such as Rock Arena or Matrix, over the normal DTS HD decoder, as they tended to give it a more expansive, livelier feel and also tame some of the bass. Your setup probably will sound completely different than mine though. For some reason, the case only listed as Dolby Digital 5.1 surround, but it is definitely DTS HD Master Audio that is provided. The original Dolby Stereo mix is also included as well. The concert is presented in its original 4:3 full-frame picture format, and although it is a noticeable improvement over the DVD version, it still looks rather low budget when compared to today's standards. The picture is about as clean and sharp as you could expect considering the age of the source material, but unfortunately the source video was not very good and the picture is still a bit dark and hazy. Most of the camera shots were either from slightly above or right on the stage, and any longer or medium distance shots giving you more of the crowd perspective were almost non-existent. There were a ton of special features, mostly short interviews and discussions about AC/DC with various music journalists and some famous rock musicians such as Billy Corgan, Scott Ian, and Matt Sorum, but nothing actually featuring the band members themselves. The set list shown here featured 13 songs and was 98 minutes in duration. As for my ratings of this Blu-ray, my overall production rating is a 6 out of 10, and my overall performance rating is an 8 out of 10. So when I first picked up Let There Be Rock on DVD back in 2011, I was thrilled to finally see a complete AC/DC concert featuring original frontman Bon Scott. It was also fascinating and heartbreaking to listen to Scott talk about how he went from being the band's chauffeur to getting a tryout for the lead vocalist spot and eventually getting the gig. As with every great musician who has died prematurely, it really makes you wonder how different the band would have turned out had Bon Scott still been leading them today. All right, that's it for me today. Let me know your thoughts on AC/DC's Let There Be Rock in the comments. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Catch you next time.